Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I wanted to give you an update on the MERF in this CM.506 M4CQB. Hey guys, and welcome back. So the purpose of this video today is, hopefully recently you've seen I've installed this MERF 3.2 mosfet in this M4, this £59 budget starter, and basically I decided I wanted to do an update because I had a couple of little issues that I've had to come back and do a rewire job on this. So ultimately what the issue was, I was using 16 gauge wire, which I've used before for other projects, and 16 gauge wire was absolutely great. However, what I found was, and you probably remember from my video, is I was having real difficulties running it down through the gearbox, and it was a real tight space in there, and I had to file a little bit away in certain places. Now, obviously that's not ideal, and it led to some issues where the wires were under compression in several places, and that caused a lot of heat generation and a lot of general issues within the gun itself. So I just wasn't happy with it. We then took it to site. My son went to use it because this is primarily for my son, and it just kept locking up. The chip wasn't working properly, all sorts of things. So I stripped it all out and stripped it down, and first thing I realised is where the motor goes into the bottom of the gearbox, the top of the gear on the top of the motor had chewed through the wire, so the wires themselves were exposed, which kept causing shorting issues, which obviously is an issue straight away. The second issue I was having is that getting it down the stock tube, because it sits sort of underneath the adapter on the back of the stock and then out into the stock tube, it was compressed there as well, and I was just having all sorts of issues. So went onto the internet, had a Google round, and I'm a big fan of Component Shop's website, componentshop.co.uk, and I got some 18 gauge. Although the number's higher, so 16 before I've gone to 18 gauge, it's actually a smaller wire, so it's a little bit thinner, but it makes a massive difference. This is 18 gauge there. If I remove this stock, you can see this a little bit better. There. So hopefully in there you can see that the wire there is definitely thinner than this wire here. So this is the 18 gauge wire, which has meant there is a lot less issues. It sits far nicer in the gearbox. It's made the world of difference, because the minute I reassembled it I had no issues whatsoever. So I've also since, because I still wasn't happy with the rate of fire that the stock gearbox was putting out, so I've also upgraded to a GMP M120 motor. So just to show you the actual difference it does make, so we'll power it up and you should see all 4 lights flash, then the 2 orange ones for the self-test. So all 4, 2 orange, so I know it's set up. I've got this running on a 7.4 volt crane stock LiPo, 2200 milliamp. This one's on a Dean's connector. I am going to get my son a Dean's connector one, I feel it just makes it a little bit snappier, makes a little bit of difference. So this is with the GMP M120 motor in it. So safety, single, much snappier, it does need a little bit of motor adjustment. Full auto, it's definitely much quicker, much better, much rate of fire. I'm far happy with this. That said, the whole job, rewiring it all, I didn't know what I was doing, so it probably took about an hour to do the work over again. Just make sure that when you do run it, make sure that you program it, because out of the box, brand new, they default to being ready for NIM type batteries, so it needs to have the setting changed using trigger pulls with the motor disconnected. There's a whole manual on their website that's dead easy to follow. So I made sure that I set it to 7.4 volt LiPo, so it knows the currents to watch out for the voltage, to check for and things. Everything else I left as standard. I didn't want 3-shot burst, my son's not quite ready for that sort of thing yet. So I just literally set it up as a normal M4 with a 7.4 volt LiPo, and everything else as standard, 100% rate of fire, that sort of thing. Much happy now with it. He's much happy with it, and he's going to get to use it soon when we next head out to site. So I hope that's been useful. do consider, and I have started using now for everything, the 18 gauge wire, because it's better suited and leaves a lot more room in the gearbox. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful. Please do like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.